It's recording. No, but it's not right.
Okay. Hello, everybody on Zoom as well. Yeah, so my name is Dan Jones. I'm the education manager at MLS now. Gary, our CEO, is coming, has a presentation to show you and talk about prep. So I was just kind of getting him set up. So sit tight for a few minutes. He'll be here. I'm sure you have tons of questions. So where'd that remote go? Down here, I got it right here. I think I was coming through the screen. There we go. So while we're waiting for Gary, I do have one thing to show you that I know he might touch on, but not show you. You guys are aware we're getting a new listing management platform. So, the way you enter listings now, you go to Matrix, you click on input, and we are in the testing phase of launching a new platform that looks like this. But it's a major upgrade from what you're used to seeing. It's very easy to just enter an address, have it load the data, and then a couple perks that it offers that you don't currently have are things like autosave. Um, being on the education side, customer service, I've taken enough phone calls. I know the pain points of if we lost a listing, you spent a half hour on it, and the system glitched out, Matrix bugged out, you timed out, you got busy doing something else, and you lost a listing. So that will no longer occur. We have an auto save function. As you can see, you just type an address in there, it drops a pin, and then you can choose your property type. Another big upgrade that is here is right now in input, you can only pull data from tax records or from one previous listing, right? You get one option. Now you can do any tax records and previous listings combined. So it'll pull in all of that data that it finds, and then it will let you choose if there's discrepancies, what you want to go with, and bring all of that data in at once. So that's another major upgrade here. Um, and then I'll show you what the actual input screen looks like.
Is this still Matrix?
No. Yeah, we are off. We are getting off of, we're moving ourselves away from Matrix. This is our own listing management platform. The user interface, UX, all of that is much more friendly, easier to use. Let me move this out of the
The
way.
reason I asked that question is because KW just came out with last week where we're gonna be inputting listings in command and it's supposed to mimic what this looks like.
The new one?
No.
Oh, Matrix.
Like,
Okay.
So that's because I guess Matrix does, I think they said like 60 or 70% of the nation, like for MLS. So the fact that we're changing that might look different.
Okay. Well, we can help you work through that if you want. Basically, what you'll see on ours here now is instead of those tabs across the top, which you never really understand, the red circles or yellow triangles, what's been answered and what hasn't. You're going to see on the left-hand side those red circles with numbers in them. And so as you answer those fields, those will disappear or go away or let you know what's been answered. And it's much easier and cleaner to see what's going on. And then another major upgrade, in my opinion. So we've got the autosave we talked about, the tax and the listing, is the media center. So uploading documents and photos is much easier. Now you have drag and drop. You can actually upload from OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, and it tells you what your photo size limits are, 20 megabytes. Because right now, I don't know if you guys have ever had trouble uploading photos. We get a lot of calls on that. You get an error message, but just kind of generic. It doesn't tell you what the problem is, if the photos are too large or they're not in the right format. So this makes things a little easier. Got the drag and drop function. And then the last thing I want to show you just here quickly on the input is the remarks. When you come down to the remarks section, you can use AI remarks to generate property details, but it's not just kind of like standard AI remarks. You actually get to make choices here, like what type of tone do you want to use? Warm and inviting, persuasive. What type of perspective are you going for? Like a luxury perspective, community perspective, and then how long you want the length of the remarks to be. And those will generate for you. So all in all, it's a much improved product. You can see the auto save up there in the top right, which is nice. Between that and the AI remarks and the listing input and tax record and the mobile friendliness of it, we think it's going to save you a lot of time. Should be a big improvement for you. And then also just the managed listings grid, like especially for head office admin brokers who have multiple agents or offices that they're keeping track of listings for. Sometimes it can be a little bit cumbersome finding those. So now in this display, you have search options. You can search by agent, dates, addresses. You can see the layout's a little bit better, more user-friendly. So we are excited about this launching. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, somebody had asked on the Zoom, when is this being implemented?
So that's a great question. We're testing it now internally. We are rolling it out to one office, June 15th. So just in a couple weeks here. They have like 10 agents. So they'll actually be entering listings live into the database using this. And as long as that goes smooth for a couple weeks to a month, no new bugs, nothing we found that's causing an issue, we'll start rolling it out by association. So it'll be one association, so a larger footprint, making sure still there's no bugs for about a month. And then we'll add another association or two, and then we'll do a full launch. So that's a long-winded answer to basically say probably around September is a good bet, depending on what association we roll out to first. We'll start with a smaller one, but yeah.
What about the app?
MLS Touch. Nothing is changing or being touched with the app. The app still exists. All the functionality in the app will still be there. This will just be how you enter and manage listings. There will actually be a tile on your dashboard. So when you log into the MLS, so the MLS dashboard right here, you're going to see a tile, right? It'll just be right here somewhere or up top. It'll say listing now, and that's where you'll click into to enter your listings.
Where do we go just to search again? Do we just use
Yeah,
the same?
still matrix for search. Yep. So that's a good question. Now they're broken up into two different distinct phases, right? You have your input and you have your database or search that you could go in through matrix. Yep.
So Matrix isn't really going away on the search side then.
Correct. Yeah, you would still.
Just the listing it.
That's right. You got it. Just how listings come into the database.
So there's two different places we have to log in then?
No, the one login, right? You're still going to log into the MLS and land on,
I got you.
on your dashboard. Yep. Yep. And just so you know, the input tab as well will not go away either up top. You'll still be able to click on that until you make that transition. But for entering listings, when that happens, you'll click on the tile to begin a listing. So there'll be a little bit of a transition phase and tons of education, obviously, webinars, recordings, and the help desk is always there. If you guys get stuck, give us a call. That's what we're there for. I think Gary.
Logged in longer.
Yes. So that's actually, I agree. We hear that a lot. Yeah, that's a matrix. Just so you guys know, Cotality, that's our vendor, right? That's who designed and owns Matrix. So that's a Cotality decision. That's not something that we have control over. Certain things like that, we can get feedback and input to, but ultimately Cotality makes that call. And there's the man, Gary.
Hey folks, sorry I'm late. I've been hovering around the building for a few.
You have a flash drive, I can plug you right in.
Yeah,
Okay. I was just showing them new listing input stuff.
great.
Mhm.
What do you guys think? Pretty cool, right? It'll reduce your entry time by 50% conservatively. And accuracy for data, at least 50%, just built in, based on rules. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good, I do
Good
okay.
to see you.
Copy up here.
Did you tell them to roll out a little bit?
Yes, the timeline, yep. Talked about that. They wanted to be logged in longer instead of being timed out.
What is the timeout?
I think it's 4 hours.
Geez, folks.
Mhm.
Shorter?
It's not
It's way shorter, cause so like I'll log in on my phone sometimes because the one app I need to go into the actual thing, so I'll log
Which one do
into
you
that on my phone. And an hour later,
Let me see.
I'll go back and try to do it and I gotta log in again.
It'll do it. I'm having a hard time seeing.
Oh, blow it up.
I mean, it's crazy.
Just today's file.
Let's
Just-
see. Let's go by it this way. There we go. Today, this one right here. I got you.
We'll look at it.
Even the,
If it's,
like, you gotta log into that nonsense.
I think that's why I don't even use it. I go to Safari.
I just like that I can send supplements from there to.
the problem is shared computers in an office. That's the reason things are set up that way. It's security. Honestly, the timeout.
Okay, you're rolling left, right. You're good to go.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you again. Sorry I'm late. I would just couldn't find a place. We've got a lot going on. Dan told you about Edit. We've got other tools in the pipeline as well. Pipeline meaning there are projects in various stages. There's works in progress. We've got other things planned as well that are sitting in the parking lot that'll be put through the factory for projects. Rules and things of that nature have been very important to us since April of 2024. We established a new strat plan when I got here in April of 24. As I mentioned, it was the eclipse day actually. One of them was modernizing our rules, 72 pages, long, confusing. We're done with that. We're about to roll out a new set of rules that are 15 pages, simplified, reorganized. Some rules have changed, and what we hope is a positive thing. I'll give you one example. The main photo is the exterior front shot. We got rid of that. You can use any exterior photo you want. I'll give you an example. There was a brokerage who had a seller invest $300,000 in a backyard. It was impressive. It was gorgeous. I get the email. I'm like, the rules are the rules. He didn't explain. I went and looked at the listing. When our data integrity department said, well, take a look. I looked at it. It was gorgeous and it was a major investment. I don't think we should get in the way of that. The rules revamp and evolution, the work that we did and modernizing are to help you facilitate quicker and not get in your way. We're not the sheriff's office. We're not the police. We're not here to get in your way. We're here to facilitate the transaction, white glove, your experience, whether it's people, process, or technology, at every single opportunity. We've done a lot of that. We probably haven't done a great job in conveying that. Some of the tools were brought in that are just over the top, real reports. Shame on us if we haven't told you about it. Shame on you if you haven't used it. We have been telling you about it. You need to get in there and use that app. I'm taking some of Dan's thunder because this is his job, but Ad Edit was important as well. Another product is Raise. What Raise does is give visibility to the work that you do. I think 96% of buyers and or sellers think that a given real estate professional spends, what is it? 45 minutes, 50, something ridiculous on the actual sale or purchase of a home. This thing records everything you're doing and it presents reports as it relates to the work that you've done, drive time, telephones, etc. Search. The next phase of that project, it's called Raise, again, Rayse. But with both products, Real Reports and Raise, we've paid for the base coverage of that. There's some upgrades, in-app upgrades that you can do. But what we've bought for our marketplace, excuse me, is above and beyond anything else you've used. You'll see that. They're constantly updating that. Please use that. Use Raise, Kubicasa, of course, you guys know about. All of those things we're paying for the base expense. All of them have upgrades, but that's up to you. It'll make sense why I'm going over some of this stuff with you. Prep is part of that evolution. Prep stands for pre-release entry property. It's a pre-marketing listing. It's not coming soon. And when I tell you about the nuances and the various components of how this new status works, you'll be able to see that. We are working with the technology vendor currently to make this status available. I think they need a total of 160 work hours to get it done. That's multiple people. That's not 4 work weeks. So it's coming pretty quickly, no pun on coming, but we just need a final date from them. We'll test it and we'll roll it out to you. Dan's group has webinars available. Data Integrity Group, which is Diana, are going to do in-person classes. The rules classes are going to have credits associated with them. So any help you need on this, we'll walk you through it. We'll have emails and posts going out as well. There's a lot of change in the industry. You guys know about mergers, acquisitions. Mr. Medina's group alone, what are you guys, 4 or 5 brokerages now? That's an example of that. Even though it's within the umbrella of Keller, it's still an acquisition and a merger. But you see the other things going on. You've got the Zillows of the world doing alliances with their preview product, open to any brokerage. You've got Compass doing things. I'm not bad-mouthing anyone to get myself in trouble. You've got Compass partnered with Homes.com and others with exclusive and things of that nature. You've got EXP doing work with various organizations around the country. This is nationwide. I've seen it coming for a while. It's happening at the broker level. It's happening at the association level, and in some cases at the MLS level. The reason we want to always modernize, and specifically for the prep listing, is the shifting needs. Sellers, there's this thing out there called seller choice. We're calling this broker choice with seller authorization. Ultimately, the broker is the MLS's customer. Any MLS that doesn't realize that, let me back off. Any MLS that is in the same model that we are, affiliated with NAR, based on our shareholders affiliation, which are shareholder associations, and there's 7 of them. The premise of not listening and responding to the broker is an antiquated way of doing business. And you'll see MLSs drop because of that. Ultimately, the MLS is the broker's customer. The broker needs equals the seller's needs. So it's broker choice with seller authorization, what we're doing here. There's a lot of private listing pressure. I told you about some of the entities doing this, whether it's an exclusive listing or just a thumb at the MLS saying, nope, I'm using my own marketing model. That's another reason this is very important to modernize and meet the needs of the marketplace and the new landscape. Things have changed on the regulatory landscape. NAR settlement, of course. The compensation settlement they did. They rolled out a thing called demo, delayed exempt marketing listings, etc. We have to keep up. We have to keep up with what's going on in the landscape and serve what we're hearing from our brokers. A little about the MLS. It's not just a simple database for team, what I call timely, efficient, accurate, and meaningful data. We facilitate the transaction. We want to stay at the heart of that. The source of truth in technology is what system gives the most accurate information at any given time. We have standards in this industry, in the MLS. Fields look the same no matter where you go around the country. There are mandatory fields, non-mandatory fields. The point I'm making is the most accurate, efficient, timely, and meaningful data any broker or agent can get comes from the MLS. This holds true across the country. Whether an MLS realizes their key customer is the broker or not, they still have to follow those standards. as long as they are affiliated with NAR. It's a really good thing. There's a standards organization. Standards are how you do things, when you do them in a technology. It's called the Real Estate Standards Organization. We follow their model. Most MLSs that are affiliated with NAR follow RISO. Syndication, us sending listings out. There's a standard way of doing that. It establishes and maintains the accuracy of the data that any MLS is handling as a custodian of the data for the broker. It's not our data, it's the broker's data. You enter it, it's not your listing, it's the broker's listing. Ultimately, we are the custodians. We're going to maintain that standard, efficient, accurate data with everything we do. In addition to the standard core functions that MLS now has, we are also adding a lot of value in technology, products, and services. The transparent real estate data is everybody gets to see everything. If there's an office exclusive, there's an office exclusive. Eventually, that needs to make it to the MLS so everyone has accurate data, even if it's sold during an office exclusive. The strat plan that we wrote in 2024 was vastly different than the strat plan we had prior to that. It had objectives and goals, smart goals, but at the overarching principles of the strategy for MLS Now has 4 components. One of them is to reinvent the MLS and add value and regain trust. There were a lot of bridges burnt when I got here, and that's true across the country. We're reestablishing that. We're making sure the MLS serves the broker and the agent in the way that they're supposed to. Reinvent the MLS and regain trust or build trust where it's missing. Number 2 is become a technology leader and deliver value at every single opportunity. A lot of people don't do that. Organizations just forgot that brokers and agents need new tools, new processes, getting rid of old processes and things of that nature. We want to be that leader, not just in this marketplace, but in the state and nationwide as well. We're allied and partnered with the right people to do all these things, and we're moving forward with all these steps. The third item is to evolve the rules of engagement. That's what I was talking about, rules and regulations. They have to be modern. We have to get out of the way of the transaction, and we have to stay relevant and viable. Having said all of that, we're not creating the Wild West. We are a NAR affiliated organization. Being a NAR related organization, there are certain things at NAR that they mandate for rules, and we're following those rules. I'm going to talk about 2 of those in a second. Again, the reason we're doing this new prep status is to stay relevant and deliver value. It's not just a prep status, folks. It's everything we do. This is an umbrella, but it covers prep specifically as well. We want to modernize rules, processes, transactions, etc. We don't want to give you an opportunity to go somewhere else because we're not meeting your needs. Transparently, open rules, simplified rules that people can understand, and make sure people understand what those standards are and how they're supposed to follow that transaction when it comes to the MLS and the transaction. The broker choice, seller choice, I talked about it a little bit earlier. The landscape's changed. We do believe that sellers may have a choice. As long as the broker and the agent are representing those choices in an accurate and honest way, like having a pre-marketing listing, I have no business getting in the way of that. I've coined my own phrase. I have no business in the business of telling my broker how to run their business. I'm here to facilitate with technology what the brokers do. And that's a big component of what prep is all about. We'll go over what prep is, but Dan and I have been going around doing our outreach on this for almost a month now. One thing we didn't do at the very beginning, the first and second presentation with this, very much like this, was explain the current entry rules. NAR has mandated rules for how you enter a listing. 2 of those are the most important ones. Who knows what clear cooperation is? What does clear cooperation say?
24 hours.
Bam. A lot of people don't know that. Hats off to you. I'm not here to brown nose him or Joe, but the offices that we're finding know the answer to that. Majority have been Keller. So hats off to you guys. That says a lot about your education, and I mean that. Clear cooperation means that 1 business day of doing public marketing, you have to enter the listing into the MLS. There's a second component to all this. It's a state and local MLS rule that says 2 business days after the list date, not when the listing agreement was signed, but when the seller agreed to be the list date, when you put it into the system, 2 business days after that, you have to have it into the MLS. Prep is also a business day rule that we just created for status, and we did that just to not confuse people. Business rule, calendar, business day, calendar day. It would have been a chaos. And we changed our rules, the big set, to reduce that confusion. So 2 rules still apply. Clear cooperation, enter the listing 1 business day after putting a sign on the ground, advertising on Facebook, etc. The other rule, state and local, and it is a state rule, 2 business days after the day it's supposed to be entered into the listing, it has to be in. So it's almost like a 48-hour grace period, 48 hours in business days. Those 2 rules always apply. This is not a nested rule underneath those 2. They're not going away for now. We're affiliated with NAR. We're following their rules as a North Star. A little bit about NAR. NAR is de-risking after the settlement. Slowly but surely, they're opening up and allowing the local MLSs to do more as far as the rule set go, per the need of that marketplace and what the brokers want. This new status is nothing NAR told us about to do. We're the only ones doing this in its entirety when you see all the components. We're happy about it. We're about to roll. We've not gotten any negative feedback. That doesn't mean you shouldn't give us negative feedback here. I'm just giving you some background on what Dan and I have experienced. What is PREP? So pre-released entry property. It's a pre-marketing type of status that meets the needs of the broker and the seller and gives them choice. The broker should never make the decision. The broker should get authorization from the seller after fully describing and educating them on what the status means. The status lasts for 7 days, 7 business days. So we did that again on purpose. 7 business days. So you can have a listing in the prep mode for 7 business days as long as you entered it 24 hours after public marketing, or 2 business days after the list date on your listing agreement. Those still apply. As long as those are met, it's 7 days. So if you do it on a Thursday, you get 7 business days, you skip the weekend, just like career cooperation. Okay, move it. Absolutely, you just can't go back. You can move forward, but you can't go back. If you're in this status, and offers are allowed, just like we're not going to tell the broker how to do their business, we're not going to tell a seller not to take an offer. I'll talk about lawsuits, offers are allowed. So within 2 days of the prep status, you may get a contract on it. Change the status and you're good. And if it sells, you're good there. We're not restricting this in a big way. For 7 business days, the days on market are suppressed. We're not calculating days on market. How do you have a pre-marketing period while you're accumulating days on market? You're feeling out the market, you're testing the market for 7 business days. DOM does not matter. When you go active, that's 0 day. You start counting at that point. During this prep status period, price changes are not accumulated when you go active. When you go active and it starts syndicating to wherever, feeding out to other websites, any price changes that were made up or down will not show. That gives the seller some leverage. That's the testing of the market. Those are two fixed components within the new status. One that's not fixed is showings or not. Broker choice with seller authorization, whether you want to show it or not. If you show it, you have to show it to everyone. Those rules aren't changed. If an active listing allows showings, which it's supposed to actually, you can't segregate, you can't discriminate. You have to show it to everyone that's interested. But you have a choice for the 7 business days on this status to either show it or not. When it goes,
Well, then why would you do prep if you're going to allow showing?
but prep isn't just about, remember, it's not coming soon where you got to change the carpet. You're filling out the marketplace. You're testing the market, seeing if the price is right. You may get 15 offers without a showing. You may get 10 with a showing. To us, it doesn't matter. During this period, showings are optional, but there's an authorization form. The buyer or the seller has to sign it. So if you're thinking coming soon, get out of that mindset. This is completely a new type of listing that we're doing. It's not just about testing the market. I want to make that clear. It's about relevance for the MLS, value of the MLS, modernization of the MLS, and quite frankly, making sure that we stay in the middle of the transaction, because the data we provide is the most accurate any other people can provide, including Zillow and Redfin and all those folks. So it's not just about testing the market, seeing where the price should be. It's also about the MLS and the viability and the relevance of the MLS in a changed market, not changing. Changes will continue to come, but it's changed. This is the new ball game. Evolving the rules and evolving the rules of engagement is one of our guiding principles of the strat plan, as I said. This is a big part of that. When we got done with the rules and regulations revamp from 72 pages to 15, this was on my list as the next step. We didn't want to do too much at once. We escalated it due to all the chaos that occurred over the last 2.5, 3 months with these coalitions and alliances going on. We want to compete. We want to entice. Use us. Don't go to some portal and enter it because they have coming soon. We're giving you this. Use us as your test bed.
I have a question. So will this get syndicated out, so people who are set up in a search are gonna get that as an email? Like-
Syndication is also an option.
Okay, so then when it goes active, won't they just get it again and won't they buy or no? They're like, wait a minute, this isn't something I haven't already seen, even though the days on market's there.
The same MLS number. It's the same MLS number. Anyone in the public won't see any of the price changes that occurred. Yeah. Days on market will not show. When it goes active, you start over. The listing is still the same.
They had seen it like 7 days ago and then they're like, wait, this is the same house I saw it.
And the listing has to be entered as active or
Yeah.
prep. So they wouldn't have seen it.
I'm guessing, what I'm saying is, if it goes in as prep.
Yes.
at, Let's say 300.
Right.
And it goes out, people see it, whether they're showings or not is irrelevant. But then 7 days later, when it goes active, now at the new price, if somebody says, oh, I saw that house, and now I'm seeing it again, now.
Okay, I see what you're saying now. Look, Heidi's still looking into that with our vendor. Well, we may be able to just suppress that altogether. We've got a couple of weeks until they start working. So that we've got a addendum to the contract. They want money, of course. Then we've got a statement of work. We're working on those bullets. And that's one that's absolutely a question. Great point. I didn't understand your question at first. Public marketing is allowed. Public marketing is allowed. If you did the sign and you entered it 1 business day after that sign, you're good to go. You keep the sign. If you don't want to do a sign, don't do a sign on the prep status. But if you put the sign in, you have to enter it as an active or a prep 24 hours afterwards. I'm just tying back to those other rules because they don't go away. Those are North Star type of rules. A great point on IDX. So IDX is optional. You have that option now in an active listing, but you have that option here as well. So the authorization form is clear, simple. We didn't complicate it. We do refer back to those other 2 rules. We have to, so people go scratch their heads and say, hey, what are those? Let me go look at them. We think this is a winner. Everyone we talk to outside of in the marketplace likes it. Brokers, agents, etc. Everyone we talk to outside of the marketplace is starting to copy us. So speed is of the essence. We've advertised it across this marketplace on social with emails. In the next couple of days, we'll probably put something out as we get closer to the deployment date. Just a simple press release about, hey, MLS Now is committed to our broker and seller needs and modernization, and this is why we're introducing this. Yes.
So, just so I'm understanding, public marketing, I put the sign in the yard and within 24 hours, it can be in prep mode. It doesn't have to be active.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
I can run paid ads on social media and it's still in prep mode.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Get on top of the building and with a blowhorn and do whatever you want. We're allowing it. Other MLSs are doing bits and pieces of this. I think we covered it across the board. It's not easy on the technology front. We got pushback at first because other people don't have this. It's coming soon. And by the way, it'll be distributed IDX feeds. It'll show prep. Zillow's agreed to that. Homes.com has agreed to that. Heidi is talking to all the broker websites. So we're working on that. And the way we distribute data, we're also not doing vows, which isn't a big deal anymore. It's a virtual office website. So if you say no IDX, vows won't show it either. So you've got total control of this listing for 7 business days. You got to follow the other 2 rules, but here's a new way for you to actually be more successful and close the deal and meet your seller's needs. Just keep them informed, just like we try to do every time we make a major change. Back to the big rule set of 72 versus 15 pages, we're done. The vote is in. It's ratified. We didn't release it because we didn't want to confuse people. So I got this new 15 pages of rules, and you got this prep. What is all this? We may do it together once the technology is ready, but we're not going to release the new rules. This goes first. There's no and or. They either go together or this goes first. Does that make sense to everyone as far as the announcement goes? Of course, the new rules have this in it. It's just we didn't want to confuse. Because believe me, the confusion on rules and contracts, it's nationwide. I'm sure you felt it, but it's nationwide. California had a lawsuit because of how confusing their contracts were. I don't know if you remember that a while back. It was a consumer advocacy group that went after them, and they agreed, like pointing back, no, look at number 2, look at number 3, 2A, 4B, long documents, stuff like that. So in a nutshell, that's critical cooperation. Again, a summary documentation is absolutely required. The prep authorization form has to be signed by the seller and the agent, just like any other form that you do. Speaking of forms, I'm talking about MLS forms now, not real estate forms. When you change the status, you still need the status change form. None of that has changed. This is just the new status that's within the existing entry and status change rules. None of that's changed. 7-day window can't be extended. To your question, if you're done with it in 3 days, take it to active. After 7 days, it'll automatically go to active. 7 business days if you do nothing.
Do you have to change that status? If we only want it 3 days, can I put it in the system that it goes active in 3 days, or do I have to remember to log back in?
There's no timeline. No, you got to change it just like you do now. Yeah, just like I think it's a status change form. Yeah,
Yeah, the edits.
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's definitely different than coming soon was. I know you're distinguishing is clearly 2 different things, but the coming soon, it was you put those dates in there, the system automatically made the listing.
Right.
active.
But there's, the days were 21 days or whatever you had, 14 days. This is a maximum of 7. It'll go to active automatically. But if you want to change it yourself, we can't do that automatically. You got to have that signature because you're changing the status yourself. So
And this is 7 consecutive days.
no, 7 business days. So if it's a Thursday, you've got 3 additional days. One of my board members always points out postal holidays, which we have 4 or 5 of. So it's become a joke in the boardroom, but it's a valid point. If it's a postal holiday, you get that additional day. It's going to be audited. The listing, the entry dates, all that data integrity is on top of that. It's going to be audited just like any other status and any other changes you make in the system. We're hoping people don't find ways of abusing it. Again, we're doing it for the brokers, the agents, and the sellers. Told you about days on market. Everything starts clean as well as price change. Full permissions on public marketing. Remind me not to use a Mac anymore for the presentation. Look at that. Clear cooperation still applies as well as the local and state rules, as I mentioned. That's really it in a nutshell, folks. It sounds simple. It was a 15, 20 minute just a demo of it. Believe me, the work behind this is extremely intense. It involves Dan's group, which is support and account executives and training. It involves data integrity, which used to be called compliance. It's called data integrity now, just to lighten that you have a violation. We're going to start calling it mistakes. We're here to help, not to penalize and slam people for mistakes they make. So it involves Diana's group in data integrity. It involves Heidi, who's our MLS director, not board director, but director of MLS things. It also involves membership. So it's intense. It costs us money, but we're happy to do it and move forward.
Gary, so first, thanks for coming in.
Of course.
But I'm gonna, this may stump you a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is clear, but then we're gonna muddy this a little bit. You may not have the answers to this because as he said, I don't know if you guys have paid attention to all the different things that are going on with the lawsuits and whose website you can be on, whose website
Right.
you can't be on with all this. There's a lot going on out here. And so the reason that I came up to ask you some of these direct questions is because of all these changes and because of all the large companies making changes, Keller Williams has now rolled out something last week.
Right.
It is not available yet, but they rolled it out to let us know that it's coming. And so it kind of is convoluted with this system because what they're saying is now, because everybody wants to hold their own listings, right? They don't want to help anybody with the way we used to put it in the MLS and everybody gets it, right? It's just fair across the board. They don't want to do that. So Keller Williams has got on board, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I think the more data that we give to everybody, the better when it comes to the MLS. But unfortunately, we are now where in command is where they're going to want us to start entering listings in, and that hasn't happened yet, but it will be coming to where you'll enter it in command and then have control of where it goes to what MLS is, because we're a member of MLS now, but Columbus, we have Navica, we have 2 Navicas. So there's different things, Firelands. So you're going to enter it once, and then somehow it's going to maybe get IDX feed to all of those. And we were told that it was actually built on the Matrix platform.
It is.
So we just found out today that
It's Cotality. It's BX,
yes.
not BLT. I'm going to have BLT for long. BXL. We've got a similar solution coming in. It's being built right now. It's with a national player. Cotality, that was a reaction to it. It didn't surprise me. I knew it was coming because remember, you guys are owned under the same group. Cotality and Keller are under the same umbrella. So it's not, we're upset. No, but we still want to talk to you about the solution that we're working on. We work with another broker already on that. We have a one in, many out solution that can be available like this. And I've reached out to, who was the technology guy? He was at Arden's office. I've just been so busy with,
Instruments office.
yeah,
Yeah.
with a beard.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
I reached out to him. I think we're gonna have a meeting. I just want to educate him on what we can do as well. But at the end of the day, if it is something like that, I urge all the brokers, let's just, you said muddy, let's take the mud out of this for a minute, okay? Let's say it was just a simple office exclusive. After it's sold, it should be in MLS so that you can have better stats later on CMA. We can control that as well. This add edit system that he showed you is not just add edit. We have our own independent database now, meaning we're not sitting in Cotality. We do what we want with it. We can write applications against it. It's all built, ready to go. It's being tested. What I'm trying to say with that is, if you have an office exclusive, to keep it simple, it's going to stay with Keller, Legacy, or Chervenic, or the group of franchises. we can suppress that listing from all the other members of the MLS and do it legally, because office exclusive is another mandated rule by NAR. So the point is that there's options. I think it's great. You guys are under the same umbrella. I was like, okay, well, I wonder when that's going to happen. And it did. You know, no, I've read it all. It's not visceral sense or reading the tea leaves. It's just common sense and being in the industry a lot. But I'd love Jose to hear about what we've got as well, just for education. You may say hit the road. We've got this covered, but I don't know what the overhead and pricing on something like that is, but we've done this for another broker already in our region.
Well, the reason I was bringing that up too is because we're all aware of the Zillow, that Keller Williams partnered with Zillow for the preview period.
Right.
which I think, you know, we've tried to explain too, is that was not, it's not allowed because MLS now doesn't have a coming soon. We didn't have prep. So I guess, can you answer this question? If a Keller Williams agent wanted to do this preview, Zillow preview, which we don't have any forms for, we don't have anything.
Right.
But if they wanted to, is it even allowed right now? Because MLS now doesn't have that status.
Here's how Zillow's handling it. Zillow is saying we're following clear cooperation rules.
Right, but if we put it, we have to have it in the MLS within 24 business hours to follow
Right.
clear cooperation, so it's very difficult, so that means I could have it for 24 hours as a preview on Zillow. What good does 24 hours on Zillow versus the next day?
You're entering it twice.
So,
Don't enter it twice. Enter it here as prep. It's going to go to Zillow as prep, and it's not one day. The Zillow solution asks for an attestation of the existence of a listing agreement, which includes a list date. They're making you check or sign. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I just was at their the conference. They're not policing it. So they seem, hey, we're MLS friendly because we want the listing agreement and the list date and the CCP rules still apply. I'm like, oh, that's great, Toron. How are you policing that? The answer was, how are you? Well, we spend a lot of money and on people and technology to make sure that people are behaving following the rules. They're not. If you put it in as prep, it'll go over there as prep, and you get 7 days and you only enter it once. With the solution he's talking about, with this with the umbrella group, Quotality's part of it, that's similar. What we're doing with a company called OcuCell is very much, like, no offense to anyone in here, but Quotality's thing that was announced about Keller just a few days ago is a reaction to the OcuCell tool. I'm not saying one can do it better than the other, but
it's all reaction.
right. And guys, so is this. This was planned for the next phase of our rules and regulations. I escalated it. Immediately went to the board. Immediately got an out-of-band meeting, unscheduled, with volunteers. They showed up. We got the rules group together. We did it. So this is reaction as well of something that was going to happen. The reaction was, we need to do this faster and escalate it. I'd love to talk to you, the technology gentleman. I can't believe I can't remember that.
We have one here, we have a man.
You have one in each office?
We have one in each office.
Yeah.
Cheater?
No, Mike's the NCA.
Oh.
It could have been Mike, but.
It should be someone at the highest level, if there is one. If there's a CTO or a CEO, he may have replied to me. I'll include you in it, and Arden, and we can go from there. But yeah, it's the same. Yes.
She had said, just thinking outside the box here, is there a way for an agent to lose a listing from this? Or is the seller committing to the agent for the prep period per authorization form? I'm thinking protection here since we are not entering a listing agreement until 24 hours prior to listing.
The listing agreement, if you don't have a listing agreement, you can't enter into the MLS. That should answer it at a high level.
We have to have that whoever said that is a little bit confused. We said you have to have a listing in the MLS 24 hours from any public market. That means that if I go out to the house today, I get you to sign the listing agreement, and the moment I leave, I put the lockbox on and the sign in the yard. The moment that sign goes in the yard, I have 24 business hours to get it in the MLS. Whether it's in prep status or whether it's in active status.
Look, if someone, yeah. And if someone doesn't agree with that 24-hour, 1 business day rule of public marketing and doesn't agree with 22 business days of the list date and tries to extend it and try to just get away with it, This gives you an opportunity not to do that. You've got 7 days, 7 business days to do what you think you can do to get the best out of the buyers for your seller.
And it's not a new listing agreement.
It's
I
not.
think that's what they're saying. It's not-
There is
it's
a
not
form that
instead.
MLS now is going to come out with for the.
Authorization.
Yeah, it's an authorization. It's just like when you opt out, if any of you have ever opted out of the MLS or had your client opt out of the MLS, MLS now has that form. And the client has to initial understanding that there will be no IDX fee, there's no public sign, there's no nothing. We're not doing anything because it's like an office exclusive. That's always been in place. They will now have one for prep. So we originally thought we were gonna change our listing agreement. We are not changing our listing agreement because they're coming up with their own form for prep.
Right.
We don't have to change our listing agreement.
Right. We had listing agreements. I don't know if you remember, we sunset forms. Just didn't belong with the MLS. That's an association function.
So you'll have a listing agreement and you will have their prep.
Right.
If you're using prep. That's kind of like the company form,
So
yeah.
when you have a listing agreement signed, it's gonna start tomorrow on the 27th, but you wanna do 7 days of prep. Do you?
Your listing agreement is still signed for tomorrow
for
because it's an
tomorrow,
active
and
listing.
then you have a separate document for prep. And then
You'll enter
in
it in as
7
prep.
days, then it goes. out.
Has anyone listed a property and didn't send feeds out? IDX?
Yeah, and I think that's the bad part. And I will just say, I mean, I can speak as the broker here. I can't speak for all brokerages, but I'll say, you guys know that I'm a rule follower, right? We're gonna do things the right way, but I will tell you, there are other brokerages that are not. There are other brokerages right now that are not following clear cooperation, that are part of NAR. And they have already said, that's fine, let us get sued. They don't care. So there is gonna be a ton of questions as we all roll through this. There are gonna be things that I might say, hey, we have to follow. And other people will say, well, they don't have to follow this company. Great. Well, we're gonna follow the rules because we're a part of NAR, we're a part of MLS now. If they don't want to follow the rules, that's fine. And unfortunately, you may get upset with that because what one brokerage is doing, we are not. You're just going to unfortunately have to explain to your clients, these are the rules, this is how we do things. I can't tell you why this other company is not following the rules. That's what it's gonna come down to.
Right.
I have a quick question. For the prep, are we gonna have, like, we have allow showings or no showings, so we're not inundated with, hey, can I show this property? Can I show-"
Right. If you say allow showings, you need to show the,
No, I understand that, but when we enter it as prep in the MLS, will we have an option to say, this is in prep and we're allowing showings? versus in-
absolutely. Yeah. It's on that form. It's on that, I'm gonna stop calling it a form. I don't want to confuse people. It's in that authorization document that you would get the seller to sign. And look, folks, again, this is not a knee-jerk reaction. It's an escalation of something we were going to do anyway. Because, the sharks are circling. The MLS is the best place for the data. We want to make sure that we stay relevant and viable. And we, it is somewhat of a competition to all the things that Rich just mentioned as far as the other groups. Yes, ma'am.
Question about, like, the purpose of prep is for like testing the market. Let's say you want the house, like, you're meeting with the seller and you're like, I think this house should go at 300. But then the seller's like, well, let's try 325. Where do the numbers, like, what number belongs on what form?
There are no numbers. There's no form. Oh, what you put on the listing agreement is whatever agreement you have with them.
You'd have to put it at 325. If
Well-
your seller wants to list it at 325, your listing agreement has to say 325.
Okay,
At the end of the 7 days, you have to do an edit status
Okay.
change form that changes the price of the property. Because remember, during those 7 days, that's not being syndicated out to anybody, perhaps, depending upon how you're doing it. They're not gonna know that you reduce the price when it goes active. They're gonna, to his point, they're not gonna have a clue.
not gonna
The
show
days
the
on
price.
market and the price are gonna be gone.
But like she said, if it goes out to people and they see the
Right,
price.
you're already gonna
They
be-
know it, they see it, and then it comes active and it's
People are-
25,000
yeah.
less. People see it,
I
people aren't dumb. I mean, I just don't. Like,
It's right, but I mean, to Gary's point, like, this is reactionary to the way the industry is going. That's the problem, is we are trying to come up with, when I say we, whether it's Keller Williams, whether it's MLS now, like, we are all trying to come up with tools to compete with the way that clients are claiming that they want, or agents are claiming, or CEOs are claiming that
Right.
their clients want to. It's not really, we all see the benefit of listing the property in the MLS, letting it go out to all of the masses, setting up the showings and going through it. Yes, we've all had in our careers where you have a seller that says, you know what, I wanna list my house for 300, I will take 300 for it. And you put it active that day, no showings when we were in coming soon and people would accept an offer on it. That's still fine, we can do it during the prep. But we have to have options for all agents at all companies to do what they want. And that's all this is coming down to. I think it's a lot of noise personally. I think we're still gonna continue to enter our listings into the MLS. I still think the MLS is very important. We need the MLS. But I think the next couple of years are gonna be really
What
telling.
are our rules on, do we have to tell our sellers it's an option?
So, okay, let me answer that real quick, because that's a great question, is we have never been able to make the decision, and I say this, you may disagree, but I'll say, as a broker, yes, I have the option in MLS now of changing the IDX feed to where it goes. Why would I prohibit? Why would I make the decision for my consumer of where that listing is gonna go? So that later they can come back and go, well, geez, if it was on XYZ website, I could have made more money or had more views or more showings. I'm gonna sue you because you did not represent me
Right.
to the fullest. That's my rule.
It's
I
true.
think that that's what's going to happen in this industry. Because when Gary said to you on this form, like, you're gonna have the choice of the IDX feed, wherever that went. I mean, you're gonna have the choice. You as an agent should not be changing where that IDX feed is going out to without your seller's authorization.
Why would they not? Like, what seller would say, please don't share it with everyone?
There
Right.
are
Why
some
would they?
sellers
I don't
in my
like that.
career that
Never
have said,
said.
I don't want any showings on my house, I just want it sold, or I don't wanna deal with this. Okay, great, well, we're gonna do the best that we can, we're gonna put it up for sale and coming soon status, they accepted an offer. Did they make the most money? Maybe not, but maybe that's not important to them. It just depends, but I would say
So
for
do we have
99%,
to offer this to them or
you
not?
do not have to offer.
Well,
it.
not only can we have no idea what's going on before you get that listing agreement in. So even an attempt at that would be futile for us. So if you can't enforce a policy, don't do it. And if you're auditing every 3, because there's so many, you're auditing every 3, you're doing something about it. But if you can't audit, I was in the security space for a while, don't write the policy unless you can enforce it. So,
And I would also say, don't take for granted, agents are going to try and use this to their advantage.
Right.
And they are going to try and take advantage of the whole situation, just like coming soon did. The reason coming soon went away is because on any given month, there were what, 600 to 700 coming soons in the MLS at any given time, which was not the intent. That was not the intent. The intent was, I need to put carpet, I need to paint, I need to do this. That was the intent, but agents were using it to their advantage. The prep is gonna be the exact same thing. And I do believe that we're gonna end up seeing more lawsuits from consumers over all of this, simply because agents and brokerages are going to make the conscious decision to stop listings from going out everywhere, and then maybe the seller's not getting the most money for their property. So
what is the one thing? It's a question. What is the one thing that makes this status as legal as it can be? You're entering it into the MLS. Yes. You're entering it into the MLS per the rule set, what NAR mandates as a rule. It's in there. The IDX piece and sending it out to the various portals, that's an option today. So there's no change there. What's different is the suppression of the days on market, suppression of the price history, and of course showings yes or no. We didn't just do this with this. We had some smart attorneys look at it. And I think we're good to go on it. So we're hoping the work starts in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. We're going to finalize the statement of work today. One of the items is what you mentioned about people seeing it or not. So, yes.
Do we think that this will confuse, consumers, like if they see it or like, oh, it's in the status for 7 days, so I have 7 days to make an offer. Meanwhile, someone else could put an offer in and they think that they probably couldn't until it was active?
it's gonna confuse agents. Agents don't even all understand clear cooperation agreement, let alone this. So yes, it will. And to your point, that's what happened during coming soons. I mean, I can speak for my own self. I listed a property in Uniontown, 18899, and put it as a coming soon status. We got 3 offers on it before it was ever asked, before anybody could even go in the thing. And they made their offer contingent. It was a cash contingent on a walkthrough. My seller said, I absolutely want to accept this. And I said, why would you do that? It hasn't even gone to the open market yet. You got 3 offers in the coming soon status. Nobody's even walked through the house. Why would you wait and get more money? nope, I don't want to deal with showings, I don't want to deal with anything, I'm taking it, it's no inspections, it's cash, just a walkthrough, I'm done. Well, unfortunately, all those other agents that didn't send an offer, sight unseen, all of their clients were angry.
You know, that language is important. Dan, we need to be a little bit more direct on the fact that all offers are accepted. I don't think we say that in the circulars we have. So good point.
Seller can choose to accept an offer at any time.
Right.
Like, what status do consumers see?
Prep.
It's called prep.
Prep. Zillow's going to be prep. Homes.com is going to be
If
prep.
it's being syndicated out.
Right.
If, you know, if you have a seller that says, no, I don't want it going out to any of these, so like.
There
what you
were-
were saying about testing the market, you could perhaps not syndicate it out anywhere except for the MLS. Only agents are seeing it to set up showings with their clients or whatever, and then unfortunately, if you get 0 showings in 7 days, maybe it's $25,000 too high.
Right.
What he means by testing.
The consumer, the buyer will know about what prep is because the buying agent will educate them. And what is prep? It doesn't say active. The other one said active. What does that
You won't
mean?
Be able to show it.
Right.
Like not all prep listings will you be able to show. That's up to the seller.
Now, can a listing agent put in there, like, we're accepting offers on this day?
They can, but a seller can accept an offer. So that's the dangerous part of it. Let me just back up for a second. Do you have to go or do you have a few minutes?
I got a few minutes.
Okay, because I know
Yep.
your alarm went off, so I want to make sure. Thanks for spending time with us. A seller can accept an offer at any time that they want. So the dangerous part about us as agents and trying to help follow rules and be the people that keep the wheels on the bus are Gina can have a listing that says, we are looking at offers this Friday at 3:00. All offers better be in. But you know what? I can send an offer over
Can you
today
eject?
and the seller could absolutely choose to accept that offer. It goes under contract and now you are mad because you're like, my clients thought they had until Friday to send over the offer. Well, unfortunately, a seller can accept an offer at any time, so that doesn't matter.
Which
Yeah.
does happen.
And it does happen.
All the time.
So if you're gonna,
Tell my buyers,
Do it that way.
don't wait
Yeah.
till that last minute to send.
So
somebody
here's the other
send it
thing.
now.
I'm glad you said that, because here's the other thing. If you look at our purchase agreement, it talks about confidentiality. If I am the listing
no
agent
eject.
and
Yeah,
Gina
it
sends
said.
over, or Diana sends over an offer to me, I present it to my seller. And my seller says to me, Rich, I know we put a deadline of 3:00 on Friday, but you can go tell the masses that we have an offer of $300,000 cash, and if anybody can beat that, that I will accept their offer. Then I am legally now allowed to shop that offer and tell the masses that that $300,000 offer, if you can beat that, my seller will take that offer, or at least review it. Never even gets there. So that's the problem. We want to be professional and give our offer immediately, but it can also backfire on us because the listing agent could go shop that offer. So it's a double-edged sword.
Look, some of the questions you were asking and where you went with it. If it wasn't for the MLS, where would any of these rules come from? So the rules aren't to be a Gestapo. The rules are to have fair, again, timely, efficient, accurate, and meaningful data with some guardrails so that the open market is a fair market. That's what the MLS does, and it's accurate. I mean, the answer to some of those woes are if the MLS goes away, you're in the wild, wild west. You're in the wild, wild west. And
How
it
do we
may,
even do a CMA then? Like that's where I'm also stuck. How the hell could we do a market analysis, which we have a hard enough time now for
Yeah.
a few listings?
right.
If we don't have an
Yeah.
MLS to go to.
If you don't have an MLS, how many sites are you gonna go to?
I don't want to.
Right.
But here's the thing.
I don't want to now.
This is what I'll say, we have around 36,000 licensees in the state of Ohio. At NAR, we were up to 1.6 million, I think we're down at like 1.4 million.
Right.
I know that you're all involved in your day-to-day lives with different things, but I'm telling you, if you love this industry, you need to pay attention to what's going on in it. If you wanna be a realtor in 10 years from now, you better be paying attention to what's going on and use your voice. Because there are companies trying to make the MLS go away, and I think one of the most powerful speakers is our current NAR vice president. He has said he is from Ireland and
Right.
Ireland. They do not have an MLS like this. And in fact, in Ireland, Gina, you could write on my property, and before it gets to closing, Gary could come right on my property a day before closing, and I could say, I like his offer better, I'm going with him, sorry, you're out. And by the way, it takes 6 to 8 months to close a transaction. So, like, they don't have MLSs, like, we are the poster child for selling real estate in the world. And these companies are trying to make it so that we can't do business the way we do, and it's so they can be different, and it's not about the consumer. We are wanting to be about the consumer. We are here for the consumer.
Rich made,
MLS is-
Rich made a comment about staying informed. I'm from the DC area, Washington DC. I grew up there. There was before Marshalls, before TJ Maxx, before all those discount stores, there was a company called Sims, 4 floors, Lagerfeld, Chanel, like authentic stuff. But that discount concept came from them. Their rally call or slogan was an educated consumer is our best customer. To that point, that makes sense. To that point, who gets Inman here? Like paid Inman, where you can see the whole article. Res Media. Okay, those are two of the biggest real estate news outlets in the
Don't believe
country.
everything's reading.
Don't believe everything you read in it. Where I'm going with it is we talked to both of them. One of them gave us an amazing deal. The other one gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. I'm talking pennies. So by the end of this year, you'll have a free subscription to Riz Media. So you can do exactly what Rich just said. So you're an educated consumer and being the best customer. You'll hear all this news that I'm talking about. Everything Rich is talking about, it'll be in your inbox. You can get each one as it happens. You can get daily or weekly summaries, just in that downtime with a cup of coffee to read about what's going on. It may scare you, so be careful, but it's coming. That's one of the value adds that we're doing for you.
Any other questions for Gary before we let him go? Thanks,
Thank you,
Gary.
folks. Thanks, man. See you soon. I'll be chatting. Okay. Bye, folks. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Gary, thanks.
See you again.
Break this down.
Yeah.
Come in thing that you said, sweet.
I don't have any answers, but I'll try.
Well, you said we can put the listing in command and then we get to choose what MLSs it goes out to.